Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Assistant Secretary for Arms Control and Verification, the Honorable Frank Rose.
Ambassador Congressman Chaffetz, Congressman Aderholt, and Ambassador Clem. It's a real pleasure to be with you here today to celebrate the joyous occasion of marking 98 years since the dawn of a united Romania. At the State Department, we too have an appreciation for the history in honoring those who came before us. George C. Marshall, the Chief of Staff of the United States Army, and later the architect of the famed Marshall Plan that helped Europe rise again from the ashes of the Second World War, once occupied the office at the State Department that I occupy today. Secretary Marshall's commitment to build a strong and secure Europe and dogged determination to stand up against our shared adversaries still defines the U.S.-NATO relationship 7 decades later. New challenges now face the alliance, but its determination to meet any challenge remains unchanged. Today, the NATO alliance faces new challenges. Among those challenges is the threat of ballistic missiles. And what I would say is that the United States has worked very, very closely with Romania to deal with this new challenge. And that is where my story with Romania begins. I spent many hours and many days and months on airplanes to and from Washington and Bucharest as I led the U.S. negotiating team of the agreement for Romania to host the Aegis Ashore site in Romania. What is now called the European Phase Adaptive Approach. Fewer than 2 years after President Obama unveiled his missile defense plan, we had an agreement in place to host the Aegis Ashore site at Devasulu in Romania. But that was only half of the battle. We next had to transform a concept on paper into an operationally deployed capability, one that our NATO allies could depend on to shield them from the threat of missiles raining on their territory. 5 years later, after navigating through legal agreements and sustained cooperation with several ministries of the Romanian government, we gathered this past May to mark a very important occasion. On May 12th, I was proud to participate in the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Aegis Ashore site in Devasulu, a key milestone that led to the declaration of initial operating capability of the NATO missile defense system at the Warsaw Summit last July. To conclude, I've had several highlights during my almost 2 decades in government service. However, few compare to the honor of being bestowed a knighthood by former President of Romania, Mr. Băsescu. I am humbled to be one of the foreign citizens for whom the order is given and who has worked to establish friendly relations with Romania. I may never live up to the standard of the Romanian boy knight, Fat Frumus, whose accolades have inspired generations of poets. However, it is fitting that the sword that former Defense Minister Dusha presented me lies in the same office that was once held by the man whose legacy is associated with a strong, united, and free Europe, and that is George C. Marshall. And on a personal note, I will forever be grateful to Romania and its people for their hospitality. In fact, when I arrived in Caracal to discuss putting the Aegis Ashore site in Devasulu, the mayor expressed his regret that he did not have a daughter that I could marry. Now, that did not quite work out, but nonetheless, I feel I've been initiated into the broader Romanian family. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your National Day.